Hi, everybody. My name's Tara Baker, and I'm the treasurer at the city. And I'm here to walk through our new budget website. We have a budget this year that is fully on the website and HTML linked. And we wanted to take this opportunity to do a high-level walkthrough to help the community navigate around and find what they need. So when you first come to guelph.ca/budget, you will come to this page, and this is our landing page for all things related to the 2021 budget. Along the right-hand side on the bottom, you'll see a timeline. And as you can see, we're stepping through a number of council dates and delegation registration dates as well. And so we encourage you to follow along there. If you are looking to delegate on the 2021 budget, you do need to register with clerks by November the 20th. If you need information about how to delegate, you can click on this button right here, Delegations, and it'll take you to everything you need to know. Also, the budget meeting on November 17th, that's our next budget meeting. You can click Budget Meetings here and you would be able to watch that live. That meeting starts at 9 a.m. We also this year have a new forum for city staff to talk about complex budget topics and themes. And so we do have budget podcasts this year. And so if you haven't already, I would suggest you take some time and listen. We just released podcast number 5 about service in the 21st century. But the other topics in here are about growth, about building our city and the infrastructure that we own, how COVID has hit and is affecting the city budget, and then a little bit again on our budget process. So backing up to the main page, I would, the biggest piece that you're probably most interested in is our city budget documents. So when you drill down to this page, you'll see that our budget is designed and built aligned with our strategic plan this year. And so our strategic plan is the roadmap for everything we do. And so all of our department and capital budgets have been aligned into one of these priorities. So I'll be drilling down and show you what that looks like in just a minute. But before we do that, I wanted to show you these buttons that are down below here. And because this is really where you should start. So if you're new to the budget process, I would say that the first place you really want to start is here in the staff report. So this is the staff report that that staff wrote that summarizes the budget. And there's also a staff presentation, and that's what we will be walking through and presenting to council on the 17th. Next, I would say that you should go into this budget strategy and summary page. This is a summary or a database of a number of different one-pager, couple page topics, and it really describes our strategy and budget, underlying budget strategy that are true regardless of the budget that we're talking about. So new this year to the budget, in the past we would have had 4 different budget presentations. We had a capital budget, we had our non-tax operating budget, our local boards and shared services, and then our tax service budget. And we found that it really caused a lot of confusion in the community about what services were part of what budget and what was the total budget all in. And so this year, with the way we're presenting, it's one budget, all on one day, all at one approval date on December 1st. And these are the strategies that are true across the entire budget. And so there's a lot of really good information in here about inflationary pressures, for example, the positions by strategic plan, our digital investment and continuous improvement strategy. And then our long-term financial planning, we have a number of capital and other strategies that we use. And so a lot of really detailed information that will help you understand the rest of the budget as you navigate your way through. The budget requests, so these are the new things in the budget. So every year council would receive from staff recommended what we call budget requests, and sometimes they used to be called expansions. And so these are the new things. And so you can drill into this data table, for example, and you can click on this one is for facilities and energy management. And you can see how much the budget impact is and what the impact is going to be in the forecast period as well. If you want to know more about that item, you can click on Budget Request Lookup. This Budget Request Lookup takes you to a table that includes all the detail on that item that you'd want to know. And so you can find that same item, it's right here, this maintenance technician, and it tells you what it is and why it's needed, because in terms of like how we would measure success for that budget request, the risk of not proceeding, and then the other options we considered rather than moving forward with this recommendation. And so as you can see, it's very easy to see the items that staff are recommending, and you can click into any one and see that information. So moving back to the main page again, this is the rates and fee and charges guide. So that is a document that summarizes every fee outside of tax, so not including tax, but any other rate that the city charges. So we need to have council approve every rate and fee that the city charges. And so you can see that here, and it's quite a long document, but this is really the source of every revenue amount that the city charges on all of our services. So this third row here is just a duplicate of what you've already seen on the first page. And then these buttons here are really where we start to get into the budget. So like I said, this year we have one whole budget. So there's just one, and the two pieces are the operating and the capital. So we'll drill into the operating budget. As you move through, you'll see that this is a data table that is linked right to our financial system. So this is a really interesting demonstration of how data can be used a little more dynamically than we've ever been able to do in the past. So as I had mentioned, our departments are aligned with the strategies. So under building our future, for example, you'll see we do have recreation and culture, parks, engineering, and facilities management. So if I just click into culture, for example, recreation, you can see that as I do that, these charts at the bottom also change. And so they're dynamically linked, and you can see when you click here, this is the operating budget by department. And over on the bottom left is then the expenditures by type. So you can see down here we've got wages, and salaries, internal charges, purchase services, and so on. And so you can see the cross-cut of the different departments, either by in this bar chart where you can see them next to each other in terms of the total investment, comparing departments, or then also in the operating budget category by type down here. And these tables are interesting because they do have some functionality. If you're in this table, for example, you can make it full screen, and you can see it a little bit better, for example. It also has some shareability down here in the tools. So backing up, the same is true for the capital budget. So the capital budget is a presentation that we do on a 10-year view. And so only 2021 is for approval this year, but we do show and we demonstrate the full 10-year forecast. And the grouping of capital projects are the same as they've always been. we group them into groups called corporate projects, emergency services, and so on. So you can follow those across. This high level table doesn't drill down to the project level yet, so I'll show you that in another page. This is really just the high level view here. New this year, and something we haven't had in the past, is the capital project lookup button. And so this will provide residents the project sheets and the descriptions. And so this one, for example, when it comes up, it's just the first one. So we use this as an example is our land ambulance furniture replacement. It tells you the project description and the justification. And if you scroll down even further, it then gives you the expense and then how it's funded in each of those years. So backing up, the last button here is the operating impacts from capital. So our capital budget comes in some cases, some of the projects will have a significant operating impact because, for example, if we're going to build like the new South End Community Center, we need to operate that community center in later years. And so this is a table that brings together all of the estimated operating impacts from capital projects. And so you can see in 2021, we do have one item, and that is from the South End Community Center phase-in operating impact. But you can then drill down and you can see what these operating impacts are deriving from. So moving back up, we'll pick navigating our future, just for example here. So you drill into navigating our future, and hopefully when you think about navigating our future, you think about how you get around the city. And so because it's about how you get around, the departments that fall into this pillar are transportation, parking, and Guelph Transit. So before I scroll all the way down, I did also want to show that the strategic plan initiatives and the measures are also summarized here so that you can see what the budget resourcing is achieving and what the goals are for that budget investment. So I encourage you to read those initiatives and those measures. They're from the approved strategic plan. We have the high level budget impacts. So over the 4 years, what's driving the budget and which initiatives are driving that budget. And then down at the bottom here is another dashboard, and it is now just on the strategic priority level. So it's narrowed in from that first page, and now we're just looking at the departments in the, this is the operating view for just the departments in navigating our future. And then following down underneath that, we also have the capital projects in navigating our future. And so again, there's interactive ability. If you click here, you know, the demonstrated amount of the total pie changes here, and then you can see the investment year over year in roads and right of way, for example, in this view. To get down to the very lowest level of information that we have, and probably and not everybody's interested in the low level detail, but for example, if we drill into transportation services, this is what we call the transmittal, and this is where you're going to find a little bit more about what the division does, or the department in the city. And so it describes what we do, describes why we do, and it describes specifically the initiatives that are going to be achieved by this division. And then you get to the operating budget summary here. And so I'm just going to make this a little bit bigger. And so this is really the lowest level of detail now. So if you drill down here, you can see the 2020 approved budget. You've got the budget change, and then what the forecast is for this department. And again, we've got revenue and we have expenditures now. You can see to the same level of detail that you would have been able to in our other documents. in the past, but now it's a little bit more interactive. And so if I click on salaries and wages, you can see that that's the largest piece of the operating budget for this department. And you can also see how this department is funded. So scrolling down underneath of that chart, there's also then text that describes that budget change from 2020 to 2021. And the most important and most significant changes are described there. And then moving on, there's also a description for the 2022 to 2024 budget change and describes what's included in that view. And then finally, the budget request. So if there was a budget request attached to this division, and in this case there is here, the red light camera, you can click on that button and it'll take you right back to that main table that I had showed you off the top. So the last thing before we end that I wanted to show was the capital programs of work for transportation systems. So this is the lowest level of detail, or the transmittal sheet for the capital projects. So again, now we're in transportation systems. A description of what is in that program is here. We have project highlights that go through the categories of the biggest projects that are in the 10 years. So you can see transit. It describes all the operating impacts. And so, for example, our cycling network expansion will mean additional operating costs to maintain and removal and street sweeping for that cycling infrastructure. You can't just build something without maintaining it. So these are the types of impacts that you're seeing summarized here. And then when you get into this table down at the bottom, so this is really the capital project detail. So if I drill into parking, for example, it's going to open up and you'll be able to see the parking capital project names. And you can see over the 10 years where the city is recommending the capital budget. So, and then from here, if you wanted more information, you can go into those project sheets that I had described or showed you on that button again off the main web view, or you can also get to that button through this transmittal as well. So with that, I'll just go back to the main page again, and that brings us to a conclusion of the budget website and navigation. And I hope that you find that the 2021 city budget is easier and more accessible to navigate around. Thank you.